My latest financial mistake. A 1982 Dodge Charger 2.2. Says it right there on the hood. Lets everyone know you have a small engine. Hasn't been registered since 1990, which was 35 years ago. You know, it's not that long ago. This was from the era of Chrysler. A lot of Mopar guys would like to forget, but I won't let them forget. Oh no. We're gonna bring this one back. Obviously, after 35 years of sitting, it's not just gonna be a turn the key and go. It's gonna need a lot of, I don't even know. We can do this together. Denise. I think we found the name for the car. So, first of all, Alpine stereo from the 80s. That's worth like half as much as I paid for the car, along with the realistic stereo frequency equalizer. That's probably also worth some money. And actually, you know, it's really not bad. Obviously, the headliner's falling down in classic Chrysler fashion. I just sent dust everywhere. Nice. The shifter's falling out of the floor because there's no floor for it to attach to anymore. So, yeah, the dash isn't cracked though. East Coast, baby. Our floors rust out, but our dashes don't crack. So, you know, that's an even trade-off. Yeah, electric trunk release. It's the future. Air conditioning as well. Like, this thing actually, you know, I mean, sitting here, it's not that bad. When I got it, there was water sitting in the floor because the door seals are bad. So basically most of the rust is in the floor panels, but the actual frame down there doesn't look too bad. Absolutely no brakes, which is understandable. These use cable clutches, so that's actually perfectly fine. And the throttle's sticky, but it works. So yeah, there's really not a lot to this interior. Underneath here, we got a fuel tank that is completely filled with gas from 1990. That's gonna be great to deal with. I wonder if it's still flammable enough to maybe start it on. Probably not. Witness what horsepower looks like. Oh yeah. Nice hood prop, Chrysler. Just bend the shit out of the hood. Why'd they put it over there, not in the middle? Whatever. Anyway, electronic control system. It's got a electronically controlled carburetor, which we just love those. They always work great. And pretty original in here. Like, you know, it still has the AC pump. It's pretty unmolested. The brake reservoir actually still has fluid in it, so I think our lines are probably still holding fluid. I don't know if I trust them to actually stop the car, but anyway. So right now this thing's stuck on the trailer with 4 flat tires. I'm not even gonna mention what it took to get it on the trailer. And like 2 of these wheels are bent, so unfortunately I can't reuse them. The lug pattern is 4x100. Now what else was 4x100? The E30. You know what survived the fire? The E30's wheels. I went ahead and had Walmart mount the cheapest tires they sell on them. Wouldn't be my first choice style-wise for something like this, but the wheel that's free is the wheel for me. Luckily, these wheels are already trashed. There we go. Oh yeah. We're already cooking, we ain't even started yet. I bet these will look better black. We'll have to do that at some point.
Bro, are those reps? If you're broke, man, just say it.
This lug nut is totally rusted out. That's a new one. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm gonna need an extractor for that. There's part of it. How does a lug nut rust that bad? It's like, it's become part of the wheel. All I wanted to do was change wheels. It's a simple task. Okay, fine. Shit. There, it's off. Eat a dick. These rotors look fantastic. Oh, that's rusted off. And the CV boot, I think, could use replacing, in my professional opinion. Oh Oh no! It's the same shit on this side. What kind of bum-ass lug nuts did Chrysler use? It's 2 of them this time, yeah! Add wheel studs to the list. Hey, there's some rust. Ooh. Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. That shifter hanging down. Oh, dude, there's no floor left in this thing. It's all rotted out. Does the rears come off? These rear shocks have spring extenders on them. I wonder if they were just trying to stiffen it up or if the rear sagged or what. I mean, it's ghetto, but it works, I guess.
Dude, those are rear wheels. You should have been more careful.
This thing's turned orange, but if you rub it, it actually turns red again, so I have to polish this at some point. How do those hydraulics still work? Those never work. They don't work on brand new cars. Friggin' Suspa had it figured out in the 80s. Oh yeah, this old ass Firestone tire. That looks cool. Why don't tires look that cool anymore? Trying to get this thing off a trailer, but I can't because it's in gear. I can't get it out of gear because the shifter's broken. Oh, okay. All right, we're in neutral. Okay, so since the shifter is dragging across the ground, when I push it forward, it puts itself back into gear again. Nice. Okay, I tried and couldn't get it back into neutral again, so I've resorted to holding the clutch down with a jack handle. Fine. Even with the clutch pressed down, it still rolls forward for a while and just stops. Why? Oh shit. Ah, that broken lug stud is stopping the wheel from turning. Alright, well, with a set of vice grips on it, it turns. So, alright. Can I please get this off of the trailer? Okay, it has round wheels and it's off of the trailer. That was way more work than it should have been. Holy shit. Ah, that's great. Yeah. We had a big ice storm and a bunch of trees fell. So, yeah. That's really good for us. It's a pretty good sized limb too. Don't be broken. Okay. I think we're okay. I mean, why can't we just boycott winter, dude? Just get rid of it. We don't need it. This didn't fall on that. That'd be way more expensive. Whenever you're looking for a good place to park your car, remember to look up. Anyway, so I got the finest battery money can buy, so I'm gonna plug this thing in and see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna just set this right here. The horn works! Shut up. Where the hell's the horn at? Take care of you. Ah! Thought I unplugged you. Is there a second horn or what? There is a second horn. Shit. Is there a horn fuse in here somewhere? We've got random wires running out of our fuse box. That means a professional's been in here. Maybe this is the horn relay? I don't know. Must have been. What happens if... Oh. Okay. Well, it beeps at you. That's good. It's making a lot of noises. Sounds like a dying rat over there. Good. Yeah. Anything going on in here? I don't see any smoke. That's a whole ass dead mouse right there. Play us some dubstep. Oh, it's such a good noise. I love that. So good. I don't think our 80s Alpine stereo works too good. see. I think this was a good purchase. I like this. The lights work?
No.
What about the headlights? Headlights work. Shut up. Damn. The hatch release work? Nope. Okay, so anyone who's even remotely familiar with starting these engines that haven't ran in years, we pour ATF down in the cylinders. Not only is it a lubricant, but it also is a really good cleaner. So if the rings are stuck, it'll free them up. Or at least that's the idea. This is the Jeep all over again. There's vacuum lines everywhere. Well, judging by the spark plugs, the cylinders aren't too rusty, so that's a good sign. So before we put the new plugs in, we need to crank it and get that ATF out of the cylinders. Now, usually on an engine that's been sitting this long, you have to worry about the lifters and the valves sticking and pistons hitting valves and all that, but these are non-interference engines, which basically means none of that matters. So I'm just gonna hit the key and see what happens. Okay, nothing happens. Oh. There it goes. Crank it a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Oh, and by the way, the clock works. Look at that. Okay, now we can put the plugs in. Oh yeah, wait. What about oil pressure? I didn't even think about that. It has some in it, so I'm assuming this has an oil pressure light. However, it has absolutely no coolant temperature gauge, like whatsoever. Chrysler basically just said, if it's smoking, it's hot, okay? What do you want from us? We're Chrysler in the 80s. We'll give you a clock. That's important. You gotta tell what time it is, but not how hot your engine is. Great. Anyway, I guess they figured by the time the coolant system fails and you blow the engine up from overheating it, you'll just buy a new car. I don't see an oil pressure light anywhere. Okay, so we can't know if we have oil pressure either. Nice. Well, if the cam has oil on it, that means it made pressure. Cam's pretty dry. I do know how to make it make pressure though. It just involves some work. I will go ahead and put the plugs in now since we're done with that. So since this thing is seemingly not building any oil pressure, what we can do is remove the timing belt and access the oil pump drive directly and build pressure that way. And like I said before, these are non-interference engines, so if the timing belt does break, you know, it just kind of goes bleh and stops running, but we still don't want that happening. And that timing belt is made of rubber and it's been sitting since 1990. These are really tiny brakes. From what I understand, the brakes weren't very good on this car even when it was new.
Braking makes us white with fear. It's a shame too. This is not our way of how to provide a merry-go-round for the local orphanage. So much tailspin just doesn't make sense. Back on the plus side.
Granted, although the brakes are tiny, that thing weighs 300 pounds more than this car. This car weighs like 2,300, I think. Like, that's a purpose-built sports car, and it weighs 300 pounds more than that. Like, what is this thing made of? Or not made of? But just look at the size of the brakes on the RX-7. They're like double the size. This junk wheel ought to make a good jack stand. I think there might be a hole in my shower curtain. Is that a sea urchin? What the hell is that? You gotta go. Later. I think Chrysler might have been into bondage. Look at all these belts. Holy shit. Oh, that's leaking. Good. Doing an oil pan gasket sucks on these things because it's like impossible to make seal. Oh shit. I forgot you have to undo the motor mount. Ugh, I'm just gonna cut it for now. Here's that oil pump drive I was talking about. So basically we can just spin this a bunch of times and turn the oil pump and pump oil through the thing. Hopefully I can actually spin this thing fast enough to pump oil. I didn't have much luck getting the oil pump to pump, and since this oil pan gasket's leaking anyway, we might as well just drop the pan and investigate. Also, the reason I already kind of know what's going on with this thing is because that blue car over there has the same engine. Obviously this one's been modified slightly, but yeah, I'm kind of seasoned with these. I don't have a drain pan, so we're just gonna try to get it straight in the bottle. In the bottle, please. In the bottle. No, that's not the bottle. No. Okay, catch it with your hand, do something. That is thick oil. What was this guy running? Might have been why we were having issues with oil pressure, because this oil is turned into tar. This pan's been out before. I can tell because there's RTV slathered all over the gasket and there's no cork. So yeah, I'm guessing they did what I always do, which is try to put it on with the gasket by itself. It leaks, so you put it on a second time and just slather the shit out of it with RTV. Yeah, that was a good time to check the rod bearings at least. Dude, that's terrible. Do you hear this? I was not supposed to do that. Oh. All right, let's see what the damage is. Okay. I mean, it's worn out, but it's not like super scorn or anything. And the crank journal looks good, so that's good. Hopefully the rest also look like that. This is gonna make the 4th car I've changed the rod bearings laying underneath before. I've done it on the Ford, the Sentra, the Sundance, and now the Charger. I am incapable of buying a car with decent rod bearings. So considering we couldn't build oil pressure, and also considering the rod bearings are worn out, I don't trust this pump. So we're gonna replace that. So looking in the thick layer of sludge in this thing, there is some bits and chunks, but it seems to be either bearing material from the rods or plastic, which I'm not sure where the plastic would be from, but yeah, I'm not too concerned. Okay, so years ago, I took the oil pump out of that car and replaced it with a Melling, just cause. Since I don't trust the pump that's in this car and I know this one works, we're just gonna throw this one in. Okay, the new pump is in. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for the O-ring to come in as well as the rod bearings. I'm curious to see if we're gonna be able to pull any gas from that fuel tank. Yeah, I'm not getting anything out of here. Oh no. I just cut the return line and it's just plugged. It's like solid inside. It's like one solid rubber tube at this point, which means all of the steel line all the way back to the tank and inside the tank is completely clogged. Nice. This passenger side door was perfectly aligned, but now that it's sitting on the frame, ooh, oh no. Okay, so apparently the newer style pumps like this one have a larger hole for the pickup tube. So this pump actually isn't gonna work, unfortunately, so I'll have to order another. Okay, so we're waiting on a bunch of engine and fuel system parts right now. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the seats and carpet out of this thing and see just how bad the floor is. It's bad. I can already tell you it's bad. Found a bag of papers under the seat. They bought some kind of gasket at Napa in 1985. Go the extra round. $4 rebate or belt buckle on Remington 500 round rimfire long range cartridges. Or if they'd actually give it to me if I mailed this in. This guy was shopping at Food Lion in 1985. These seats unbolt from the bottom. That's kind of interesting. They just used like regular old wood screws to screw this seatbelt thing to the seat. Mopar or no car. This seat bolt won't come out, it just free spins. I fixed this little yellow generator. I don't know if it's gonna have the ass to work the angle grinder or not though. Neither of these are coming out. Love that. Kroger Dollar Days. Buttermilk or 1% low-fat milk, 2 for $3. Oh, dude, got the corn flakes. 99-cent Pepsi. Everything on this piece of shit is sharp. I think I found why the Alpine stereo doesn't work. Ugh. Uh-huh. I see. Ooh, yeah. Uh-huh. Nice. This thing is rustier than I thought it was. Weight reduction. Well, here's the most important piece of floor panel. Titanic status. Oh. Well, right here is where your foot goes. Yeah. This is great. Hey, there's the brake lines. Okay, so the carpet was the only thing keeping your feet from going through the floor. The thing has that amplifier and a bunch of big ass wires going everywhere, but all I see are these little blown up speakers. I didn't see a sub anywhere. Okay, so I'm not really in a position right now to fix this floor correctly. So for the moment, we're just gonna get some sheet metal, get the shifter back where it's supposed to be, and patch that big ass hole right there, and probably just leave the rest. Well, on the plus side, it's even lighter now. Got a whole wheelbarrow of garbage removed. So for whatever reason, I had one of the E30's doors out of the shop before it burned down, but all I see is free sheet metal. Okay, so we need like, it's gonna take quite a bit. That's how you patch a floor animal style. Obviously, this is terrible, but terrible is all I have time for right now. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. Why is it so cold? So due to Chrysler's infinite wisdom in design philosophy, when the shifter bushings wear out, the linkages fall off and you have no shifter. I can't find the bushings anywhere so far, so what I'm gonna do for now is just put some clips on them and hope they stay. Okay, the clip idea didn't work, so I'm gonna have to try to find these unobtainium bushings. Remember Cars 2 with the lemon car villains? This would be one of those. Okay, so with the shifter reattached animal style, I'm gonna go ahead and go back over to the engine and make a wild guess that this carburetor needs to be rebuilt. So I'm just gonna preemptively do that. There's a lot of shit attached to this carburetor, and I don't know what most of it does. Well, the EGR hole is completely clogged up. Whatever, just means we don't gotta delete it. So I ordered a new oil pump, but it's not right either. So whatever, I'm over it. We're just gonna put the original pump back. So this in my hand used to be the O-ring that seals the pickup tube to the oil pump. I tried to squish it a little bit and it just broke into a million pieces. It's basically turned into plastic. I'm thinking that this may have been why the original pump was not pumping. You join me in a dark shed where I'm gonna rip off your fingernail, rebuild this carburetor. So it's actually not bad inside. Like, I kind of wish I hadn't taken it apart now because it would have ran, but oh well, it's out now. I got this new old stock carburetor rebuild kit from 1991. So yeah, that should work. I got some of these things. I can't remember what they're called. Pipe something or others. The idea is I'm going to screw these onto the end of the shifter linkage and hopefully they will hold them on. Maybe. Alright, well, hopefully that'll hold them on well enough. So the shifter linkage up there is attached, but the shifter, I can feel it going into gears, but it's stuck to the right. It won't come back this way. I think I may have mounted it too far to the left. So yeah, there is an adjustment right there I can try. This thing is not high up off the ground enough. That thing's way too rusty. That's never gonna move. Maybe it will.
lubrication. Get in there, lubrication.
It's really, really loose, which makes sense because there's no bushings. I have no idea if it's actually going into any of the gears I'm selecting. No idea. I guess we won't know until we try to drive it. Holy shit, like, it's like a foot. So the shifter is done, I guess. Sure. Anyway, so the rod bearings are here, so I'm gonna go ahead and install these as well as put the old oil pump back. Okay, we got 4 brand new rod bearings. Went ahead and put the old oil pump back, so all that will hopefully be good. A mud pit typically isn't the best place to do internal engine work, but that's still probably cleaner than Chrysler's factory was. These 80s Mopars are such turds, and I have 2 of them. Why? I'm undiagnosed with something, I don't know what. Masochism maybe. The comically small brakes are really visible through these wheels. It's kind of goofy looking. This fell out of the pickup tube. I don't even want to know. Got a new O-ring for the pickup tube, so hopefully this will fix our whole no oil pressure problem. Notice how this oil pan has no baffling in it, so when you take a corner really hard, all the oil just sloshes to the side away from the pickup and you lose oil pressure. Truly masters of their craft down at Chrysler. So we're just going straight to slathering everything in RTV because these pans do not seal, and I don't want to do this twice. Old ass AC filter. All right, hopefully now we can build oil pressure. So I turned the oil pump a bunch of times, and when I listen in the valve cover, I can hear oil running down, so we managed to pump oil. That's good. So now all that's left to do down here is change the water pump, delete the fuel pump, put the timing belt back, and all the rest of the belts back. Yeah. That coolant's actually still pretty good looking somehow. STD there is. So I'm deleting the mechanical fuel pump, not only because an electric pump will work better, but also because it mounts way the hell down here, and I don't ever want to replace it, so we're just removing it now. Fuel pump blocking plate, made from the E30's door, of course. Very clean, very tidy. That's one less thing in the way. I'm gonna go ahead and put the timing belt back while I've still got all this room with everything apart. Get all this crud out of the cogs first. I'm also gonna go ahead and use the drill to spin the oil pump and really get some oil pumping through this thing. All right, now I'll put the timing belt back. That doesn't sound good. The old tensioner is metal, but the new one is plastic. I don't think you can buy the metal ones anymore, unfortunately. Shit keeps falling onto the gear. So the tensioners on these engines are not spring loaded. They're completely manually adjusted. So basically you gotta like tighten it to the point where you can twist the belt half a turn or whatever. It makes it a little bit more annoying. Basically just trial and error. You set it to a certain tension, you check it, and you're like, I don't know, it feels a little bit loose, and then you loosen it again, and you try again, and then you loosen it again, and you try again. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Now I just gotta put the rest of this crap back. Suspa had it figured out in the 80s. do radiator cap. Oh, ooh. Ooh, yeah, ooh, 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 ah, ooh, yeah, ooh, ah, ooh. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a colder thermostat in it. This is a 180 degree. Now, of course, a colder thermostat doesn't make your cooling system work any better. It basically just makes it turn on sooner. So it kind of gives you a sort of overheating buffer zone. Say you start at the bottom of the mountain, and by the time you reach the top, the engine climbs 30 degrees. Well, with a 195 thermostat, by the time you reach the top, you're overheating. But if you start at the bottom at 180 degrees, by the time you reach the top, you're not overheating because you started with a cooler engine. So that's the thought process. And that's especially useful on something like this with no coolant gauge. Okay, rod bearings, oil pump, timing belt, alternator belt, power steering belt, air conditioning belt, thermostat. Yeah, I would try to start it now, but I kind of broke the carburetor. And by kind of broke the carburetor, I mean definitely broke the carburetor. So until we can get another one of those, I want to go ahead and see what the inside of this fuel tank looks like. It's not going to be good. I could tell you now, it's not going to be good. Oh, it's empty. Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, if anyone was doubting this had been parked since 1990, here's your proof. Ooh. That used to be gasoline, and it's just turned back into dinosaur. So I can't reuse that, and I also can't reuse the tank, because when I feel on the bottom here, it's just like the entire bottom of the tank is just filled with that tar stuff. That's why I thought it was full before, because when I smack the bottom, it sounds full, because that shit's all in the bottom of it, and it's just sound deadened it. So this tank isn't coming out. I can either try cutting the exhaust off, but then I gotta weld it back on, or disconnect these bolts and the shocks and drop the twist beam down and get it out that way. That's probably the way I'm gonna do it. Mopar is a special way of designing things that make them look like they were done in someone's shed. Like, it's a little bit weak right here. We'll weld some angle to it. That'll reinforce it. Good as new. Mopar or no car. At least our filler tube is in really good shape. Yeah, I don't think this tank would work too good. Here, let me get some of that for you. Ooh, yeah. That's the good stuff right there. That's good quality 1990 gasoline. I feel like I should like donate this to scientific research or something. Like, that makes me think somebody poured something in this poor dude's gas tank. I bet it was Maria. Well, since we're waiting on a new fuel tank, we can go ahead and work on the comically small brakes. Okay, well, I beat the shit out of this thing, so much so that I cracked it. Never actually got the hub off, so I just undid the hub nut and removed the whole thing. So it's still stuck on there, so we're looking at a new drum, shoes, and hardware, and probably a hub at this point back here. Okay, so these hubs, I was trying to replace the lug studs, and on this one I actually bent the hub, hammering them in from the back. Yeah, I don't know if Chrysler used molten down Matchbox cars to make this thing or what. On the other side, I was more careful hammering them in, and instead I decided to press them in by tightening the lug nuts down and sort of, you know, forcing them on that way. But then it bulged out where each stud mounts. So now we have 2 bent wheel hubs, which is just great. Also, these are like 70 bucks a pop for used ones. You can't buy new ones anymore. All right, so this carburetor, the top half was so stuck, I bent it in the process. So this thing is kind of garbage. I went on eBay, and for some reason, somebody was selling just the top half of this carburetor on eBay for 20 bucks. So I went ahead and picked it up. It does have some small differences, like there's some holes that are different, but in the same spot. Like that one's open and that one has like a hole in it. I don't know. Hopefully it'll work anyway. I've got to swap over the choke from the old one because this one is all messed up and stiff. Somebody tried removing this choke already and they broke one of the screws, so I'm probably just gonna have to cut it out. Okay, so this thing won't go on because it doesn't have the slot right there for that jet. So I don't know, I guess I'll just angle grinder the slot in. Okay, well, this is definitely not the correct piece, but it goes on now. Maybe it'll work. People have different opinions on carburetors. Some people like them, some don't. My opinion is that they're great on lawnmowers. Finding a lot of vacuum lines that are not doing so hot. Okay, I'm curious at this point to see if this thing will make any noise. I think I replaced all the bad vacuum lines, at least in this vicinity, except for this one for the charcoal canister that I plugged off, and this one over here, I don't know where it goes, but yeah. We'll just give it a dash of explosion juice. I had a working extinguisher this time. Ha! Eat a dick, fire. Okay, so clearly the fire is coming out the wrong end. So I did get a new distributor and plug wires, so maybe that'll fix it. Can shit just like not burst into flames? Got a blue distributor cap. That's how you know it's good. Made in Canada. Oh, never mind. Distributor was stuck, but I finally got it to loosen up. Okay, I realized why it was backfiring out of the intake. It was my fault. Imagine that. So when you install the oil pumps on these, there's a slot on them and the distributor is driven by the pump. And if you don't align that slot, which I didn't, the timing is wrong. So it's on top dead center right now. And that distributor button is supposed to be facing top left, but it's facing bottom right. So instead of taking the pan out, removing the pump, realigning the pump, putting the pump back, putting the pan back, I'm just gonna put the plug wires in different places. Since I know that is top dead center, I'm just gonna put it to where cylinder number 1 wire is going on the bottom right instead of the top left. Okay, we're gonna put the gas in a little bit more controlled manner this time. Oh, that's fantastic. Really? Well, I was gonna try to run it off the pump, but it doesn't work. So, yeah, don't buy used pumps on eBay. Noted. I think I understand now why some people prefer carbureted engines. So, they clog up and stop working every now and then. The mechanical pumps don't work. The electric pumps don't work. And I think it's because they just love working on their car so much, they don't want it to work. They want it to break so they can fix it. I see you. I see you. I see you. So I couldn't find any 82 wheel hubs. I found an 83 wheel hub, but it doesn't fit. So I don't know what to do about that since I can't buy them. I guess we're just gonna have floppy wheels in the back for now. Okay, I got a brand new fuel pump, and this one actually works. I'm gonna replace the coil just for shits and giggles. It's also possible that this computer has gone senile and it's no longer commanding the ignition to do the correct thing. I have no idea what this does. The terminals on this new coil were too big, so I had to crimp on new connectors, and it's also just bigger in diameter, so this bolt is no longer long enough to clamp it down, so I have to get a longer bolt, but it's installed anyway, halfway. So since we had to put our plug wires in different places to fix our timing due to the oil pump problem, I was thinking maybe the computer is confused about where cylinder number 1 is, but it has no idea where it is. There's no way for it to tell. This is just so it knows how fast the engine is spinning, so that's not it. We got another problem going on. I didn't clean this before. Maybe that's causing problems. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at the wall at this point. When it started, it just immediately revved up to 4 grand. Don't know what that's about, but hey, I mean, it ran nice. Also, it turned the radiator fan on. This thing's dead cold. Why'd it do that? That's good to know we have a healthy engine. It's always nice to have a running engine in a car. It's pretty useful. So now we just got to deal with this hub garbage and the brakes and the fuel tank, and yeah, it needs work still. Shit like that is why I was so concerned with building oil pressure before we tried starting it, because if we started that thing dry and it just revved to 4 grand, it would have thrown rocker arms and spun bearings and who knows what else.
But we were precautious, so that didn't happen.
The next day.
Well, that blew over onto the Charger. Fantastic. Looks like it missed the roof, barely. So at least we got that. Okay, well, I mean, it's dented right here, and obviously the windshield's done, but it did miss the roof, and this here is a little bit scratched, but nothing too bad. You know, the quarter panel is okay. It just hit right there. So in that sense, we're pretty lucky. We can actually just go ahead and get some glass for this door and probably hammer that out. So needless to say, I'm gonna move this somewhere else now, probably that car as well, as far away from that piece of shit as possible.
Hello?
Hello, Mother.
Hello, son.
I need you to move your Mini Cooper somewhere else.
Okay.
Nature sucks. I got a key for this thing. Oh my god, I can't fit. Wow, it actually runs. Never cared much for this generation Mini Cooper. I think that's something to do with being straight. Musical cars. That's the smallest tow hook I've ever seen. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm just gonna have to use a small strap and hope it can handle the abuse. Yeah, that did about what I expected it to. Can, however, do that. Okay, I think everything's safe from rogue sheds at this point, so I can get back to work. Oh yeah, I discovered why the carburetor isn't closing all the way. There's a set screw right here that's screwed in too far. I'm thinking a previous owner had issues with idling, so they screwed it in to try to band-aid fix it. And then we came along and fixed whatever the problem was, and now it wants to rev to 10,000 RPM, so I'll just unscrew it and that'll probably fix that. Okay, well, we're waiting on parts for everything. So I figured it's a good time to fix this door that doesn't open. Yeah, just ignore the holes and the busted glass. This window's also completely stuck, so probably fix that too. There's another busted speaker. You really can't get in there to that to do a whole lot. I might just try lubricating it and see if that helps. I'm just gonna squirt some used motor oil on it because that's what I have. It had these stupid ring things I'm having to chisel off to get the regulator out. Not very serviceable, Chrysler. So this is the window crank mechanism, and it is completely seized. So I gotta free that up.
It's been freed.
All right, window roll up, window roll down, door closes, door opens. Okay. Got a new fuel tank. Very nice. I also got a new rollover valve because I broke the other one, and of course the other one's unobtainium now. This is from a Jeep, I think, and it's got about the same diameter, so I think that'll work. Perfection. Also got a new sending unit, so this entire fuel system is going to be brand new out of necessity because it was all trashed. That's all well and good. However, I have realized that doing brake lines is going to be a lot more difficult with the tank installed, so before we put the tank in, I'm gonna do brake lines, and of course the proportioning valve is way down in there, so I need to get this crap out of the way. I'm gonna remove the master cylinder and unhook a bunch of these lines so I can get to that to do the brake lines. I would just leave the lines that are in it and just try to run those, but there's a good chance that they're not gonna hold pressure, and then I'd have to remove the tank again probably to get to them, and yeah. So many people say, oh, I like old cars because they're easy to work on. I disagree. Well, that was a pain in the ass to get out of there. Usually you only see one brake line running to the rear of the car, but for whatever reason, Chrysler decided that the comically small brakes needed two. So they ran two. And now we gotta run two. I was trying to flare this brake line and the stupid piece on the flaring tool split open. Maddox, more like Baddix. I gotta return this now, shit. At least the wind isn't blowing dirt and rust in my eyes. Oh wait. Get over there. So I got a second Harbor Freight brake flaring kit, and this one's just straight up defective because this can't clamp down all the way because the hole's too small. So that's really nice. This one's not gonna work either. So I did manage to get this one to work eventually. You just have to really crank on that thing. And even then, the flare it made isn't very good. So it does work, but barely. I got a third brake flaring tool. This one's a Duralast. Looks better. Hopefully this one will work. Yeah, the Duralast is much better. dog never stops barking. Wish I had some fireworks to fight back with. Went ahead and got a rebuilt master cylinder because it was 10 bucks and that sounded worth it. So now that most of the brake lines are done, now I can put the tank in. Oh yeah, and this filler neck isn't gonna work out. I thought maybe I could repair it, but the entire thing is completely rotted out. Like, there's pinholes all the way through it. So I'm gonna have to replace that. Okay, so my plan to fix this is to just go ahead and get some 2-inch rubber hose and cut this like right here and just run the hose over to the tank. And doing it that way should allow me to put the tank in and then put the filler neck in. So that's what I'm gonna try anyway. Okay, so since the 82 wheel hubs are impossible to find on Obtainium, but I can find 83 wheel hubs, the 83 wheel hubs use a bigger spindle, and I believe the Sundance has that correct size spindle that will allow me to use the 83 hubs on my 82 Charger. I didn't really want that car to become a parts car to fix this one, but I guess it was kind of inevitable anyway. Yeah, that newer style spindle is a lot beefier. I guess Chrysler was having complaints about bent spindles and they're like, ugh, I guess we'll reinforce this. So I guess this is technically an upgrade we're doing. Yeah, that thing is beef cake compared to the old one. Okay, that works. So I'll go ahead and rob another one and put it on the other side. All right, now that that's done, I can install brakes. Okay, so things escalated a little bit yesterday. So these are the brakes that were on the Charger, and the pads and the hardware and everything else that I ordered wasn't right because, like the hubs, it's the older style that apparently you can't find. So the backing plate and the shoes and everything you see here also came off of the Sundance. So there's not a lot left on this car. So we've now updated the brakes as well as the hubs to the newer style on this car. So I just got a couple more lines of hoses to run, and hopefully then our brakes will be done. Okay, every single brake component on the entire car, from the lines, everything, except for the front pads and rotors and the booster, are brand new. I didn't bother bleeding our master cylinder because it's just so difficult to get to. It would have been a mess, but hopefully that doesn't make it too hard to bleed. Okay, what's this feel like? Oh no, not good. That fitting's leaking. Fantastic. Okay, I think that might be fixed. Also, why is the clutch on the floor? I didn't even touch that. What?
Oh, the cable came unattached. How?
I don't see any more leaks, so that's good news. I'm gonna switch over from the vacuum method over to the bottle bleeding method and see if that'll bleed it the rest of the way. All right, now do we have anything? Ooh. Yes, we do. Nice. The f was that? Pop the rear drum off. Damn, how'd that even happen? So the method for testing whether your brakes are any good or not is pretty complex, but basically it goes something like, and if you don't blow any lines up and you don't have any leaks, then
They're good.
okay. So the comically small brakes are fully operational from what I could tell at least. So I'm gonna put on some front lug studs, fix the rest of the fuel system, and then that clutch cable that fell off, and then drive, hopefully. All right, on the ground with 4 properly attached wheels and functioning brakes. Very nice. Okay, I managed to reattach the clutch pedal. Okay, I got some fuel rated rubber tube and some scrap exhaust pipe. I'm gonna see if I can recreate this filler tube. Yeah, I don't plan on this being a permanent fix, but hopefully it'll work for now. Okay, we got our pump install over here. Just ran a rubber line over here to the filter, to the carburetor. So I still need to get some wire to actually power the pump somewhere in the fuse box. So switching again to something unrelated, the glass is here. So I'm gonna install that real quick. Yeah, it looks correct. Buckle up for safety. This window crank was stuck like the other side, but now it's freed up. So I guess that building falling on it must have knocked it loose. Okay, we fixed the boo-boo. So right now I'm doing the wrong thing, which is shoving the fuel pump wire into a fuse. So I really just want to see if this thing's gonna run or not. Looking dry so far. The stupid sending unit didn't seal. Why? Come on, man. Why not? Yeah, I don't think I tightened it down all the way. Really not an easy way to tighten it though. I wasn't asking. Okay, it's on all the way now. Will it still leak? I don't know. Okay, it's holding fluid so far. All right, let's see if that fuel pump will pump. Okay, we got fuel flow. All right, the needle and seat is sealing. No leaks over here. All right, well, let's let it rip, I guess. It's burning a lot of something. Looks like oil smoke. Okay, I'm assuming that's all the mouse nests and the exhaust burning up there. So that's good. No exhaust leaks, surprisingly. Oh yeah, that's fine. Well, we're smoking out the neighborhood. 150 degrees. All right, well, methinks it's time to hit the road. It's gonna be a very well ventilated drive. I can see the wheel there. We're moving. We are moving. I wish it didn't idle so fast. Wow, there's a lot of holes in this floor. Oh man, the clutch feels really good. Brakes are okay. And it's idling at 3,000 RPM. Why are you idling so high? I don't understand. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we can idle it manually. Yeah. The speedometer, can't decide. That's fine. It's idling at $2,000 again, but if I blip the throttle, then it doesn't anymore. I don't know. It actually shifts. I'm kind of surprised. Quick temperature check. What are we at? 190. And the thermostat's open. Good. All right, so the cooling system works. Onward.
2.2 liters of fury.
Oh yeah, my seat's coming off. Oh, my seat came off. Yeah, that's nice. There's nothing really to bolt it to, unfortunately. Gotta figure something else out there. Ah, damn it, my seat. Okay. All right, whatever. I'll just hold myself in, it's fine. Oh yeah, dude. I'm the first person to drive this car in a very, very long time. Nice. Feels good. Feels good. There's a lot of smoke and funny smells coming through. Honestly though, I mean, it doesn't drive that bad. To be sitting for 35 years, it's pretty good. I'm just shocked that this shifter even works. Oh, and it died again. I keep forgetting that I'm the idle valve. Ah, I want first. That's not first, that's third. Ah, that's reverse. I was just talking about how well the shifter worked, and then it does that shit. There we go. I'm having to hold myself in by the steering wheel. Brake check. Oh! Damn, okay. The brakes work. Okay, well that was an experience. Yeah, a lot of smoke. Still staying cool-ish. Head's like 210, that's fine. Okay, so this little rubber spacer thing split in half. Very nice. You will never fix your car as long as there's a carburetor attached to it, because you can't fix a carbureted engine. You can only appease it for the meantime until it inevitably breaks again. You'll just keep working on it and working on it and working on it in an endless loop until you A, die, B, huck the car, or C, put fuel injection on it. Okay, so it can't physically go together without this because it doesn't have the studs on it otherwise. I think the later cars switched from this rubber one over to a plain steel one, so I'll have to find one of those now. Goody! Oh yeah, I didn't even acknowledge the power steering worked. I haven't checked the fluid or anything, it just kind of functions, so that's nice. Oh, it's empty. Good. So I tried the Alpine stereo again, and it actually works now, so that's pretty good.
To Chode FM, where we play music sometimes. Oh my!
Anyway, it works. It must have dried out, so I'm guessing that's why it didn't work before. Somebody's blasting over there. So at this point, I really want to see what this thing looks like red again instead of this ugly orange color. So we're gonna wet sand this oxidation off and polish it. People say the back seats in these 80s cars are bad, but I don't see why that is. Window louvers. I have these window louvers, but I can't figure out how the hell to put them on. It's got this thing that shoves into the window seal and these little hooks on the side, but there's nothing for the hooks to hook onto on the louvers themselves. I don't know. I'll probably just get rid of this stupid shit and just put them on with Velcro later. I'm getting rid of all this amplifier nonsense because it doesn't work anyway, and it's honestly a fire hazard. What brand even is this? Can't even tell anymore. Realistically garbage. And just like that, it's as if there's not giant holes in the floor. Got some Velcro for the louvers. If it's good enough for astronauts, it's good enough for me. Astronauts? Yeah, it looks like it'll work. It's not like it's gonna catch any wind anyway, unless I go in reverse at 90 miles an hour. It started raining, and I discovered some water on the seat, and apparently the window seal is leaking. So I think we discovered why the floors are so rotten. Yeah, this thing looks a lot better now. The glass is already dirty underneath the louvers the next day. Nice. The interior also cleaned up really good as well. Obviously the window seal leaks, that's a problem, and the floor's rotted out. But hey, I mean, it looks pretty nice, and it even smells good after cleaning it, so that's all well and good. So I think my next course of action with this car is attempt to daily drive it. I want to use it as, you know, a car, what it was designed to be. It might be too much for it, definitely, but yeah, I'll report back how that goes. I was thinking about what this car is. Chrysler designed these as cheap temporary transportation, something you buy and drive for a few years and then get rid of it. And that's exactly what this person did. They drove it from 82 to 1990, and then presumably when they heard the rod knock from the rod bearings we replaced, stopped driving it. And there it sat for 35 friggin' years. The fact that this car sat not running for 35 years without being sent to the scrapyard is an achievement in itself. Whether the person was attached to it or they were just lazy, we'll never know, but it's here. Somehow it's here. I don't know, it just seems like something that shouldn't exist anymore, you know, something that you see in an article or a book but never in real life, just because why would it, you know? Like they don't function as cars well. They're not really enthusiast cars, they're not fast, they're just an old car from the 80s that were kind of shit. I still like it though, because who the hell is driving around in 2025 in a Charger 2.2? Nobody. I've only seen like 2 of these in my entire life, and both were like in a forest somewhere in a junkyard. Basically what I'm saying is it's the ultimate hipster mobile. Also, update on the pit where the house should be. A lot of people have been saying, why are you working on junk? Work on your house. You need to get a house. I can't just snap my fingers and make a house appear, okay? It takes a while to build a house, okay? You have to get things inspected. You gotta do shit that no one would think about before you can even begin to build a house. So basically, in my downtime, I work on garbage, and when I can, I work on the house, all right? Okay? Okay? Oh yeah, the car's name is Denise. I forgot about that.